I date way back. I don't think I've ever been so impressed. And Jack, when you ran on the outside there, the speed, unbelievable speed. And I think it would have took a Mack truck actually if human beings couldn't took you down. Because when you ran that left side, you carried like 3 guys. And I said to Ed, hell, I don't even think he knows there's guys on him. And you just kept going and going for a first down, darn near touchdown. You went down to the 2-yard line, I think. But I think the wind finally caught up to you because, I mean, your legs are going a mile a minute. But I've been here, and I think Larry Schuberger is probably the best back I ever saw, fullback-wise. TJ was one of the fastest guys that I've seen as a halfback. But up till then, you two now, I think, have done it. They all. I mean, don't get big heads over this because I know you won't because you got a destiny there. But you guys are very fast. But more importantly, you're very entertaining. You don't realize how entertaining you are. I mean, we're sitting back there watching, not so much winning the game, but you're entertaining and you end up winning the game. And I swear to God, we could go into God forever, but there is a God because you guys were meant to come out winning that night. And at the end, it was just fantastic. I mean, you guys deserved it the whole game. Ed said you outplayed them, you outhit them, you outran them, you outplayed them, outran them, blah, blah, blah. And he's a football guy. So I know I love to talk. I'm going to let you guys talk a little bit about your humbly beginnings. But Jack, you come from a great family. I knew your grandpa, and you could talk about if you listened to your grandpa talk about Don Bowman. He was a pretty good sportster and baseball player in Shepherd, Michigan years ago. And you probably don't know this, but I knew his best friend, Gerald Brewer, from the Beale City area back in the day. Gerald and Don were very good friends and remained friends for a long time. I raced horses for Gerald, and that's a different subject for another day. But anyway, Garrett, when you 3 boys came into St. Mary's Church with your mother and dad, when you first moved here, my brother was instrumental in recruiting your dad at the hospital. He said to me, he goes, not only did we recruit great doctors in your mother and father, but we recruited some good football players. Now, you guys, my brother, that's what kind of talent he has. He saw football potential in you 3 little guys. And how old were you when you moved here?
When we moved here, we weren't even alive yet.
Huh?
We weren't even alive.
You were born here?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I just remember you coming to church then because I guess didn't know your dad that well. But yeah, he saw good football players in you guys, so that was kind of cute. But tell us about your beginnings, Jack. I mean, you play sports and been in sports your whole life.
I've been playing football since, as soon as I've been able to walk. I've grown up around it. My family's always been with it. And it's just something that I feel like I'm meant for, I'd say. I feel like it's something that I can give back to people to look up for.
Yeah, your dad was a good athlete. He played football
at Chip.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and your mother's side of the family's pretty good athletes.
Pretty good. My mom went to Iowa, played tennis there, led them to their best record of all time through their program history.
So, if a little guy in 7th grade's listening to this program right now, when would you tell him to start working out? What would you tell him to achieve what you achieved?
Work as soon as you can, honestly. It's from all the stuff that I've done from growing up, starting out earlier gets you more experience, and the more experience, the better it is.
Your speed is, like Garrett's, pretty unbelievable, actually. What do you run a 40?
I think this summer I clocked at a 4.53.
That's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah.
How about you, Garrett?
Yeah, pretty similar.
Yeah, unbelievable. You guys having a lot of fun this year, aren't you?
Yeah, it's so much fun. I love this team this year. Yeah. I don't know what it is. It just feels a little different. I feel like we're a little better. I don't know. We feel like more of a family, I guess.
What do you? I know you have a great coach sitting here next to us, and we're going to let him talk about it a little bit too. But your front line, let's talk about them a little bit. How instrumental is that to you guys?
I'm honestly so proud of them. Every day they're putting their bodies on the line in practice and all that. They're not afraid to go out there and do the work if they need to. They love to be around us, and we love to have them.
What's the name of your front line? Center on out.
It goes.
Garrett can jump in if you want.
It goes Caden Schuberg at center, right guard Braylon Counselor, Right tackle,
Jace
Jace McAllister. Left tackle, or left guard, Jonathan
Johnny.
Lazinski, and then
Eden Welch.
left guard, Avon Addis.
Yeah, those guys are all hard hitters,
Yeah.
aren't? I mean, I couldn't believe the holes they opened up. But the I got so excited was when the hole opened up, you guys just spurted out. I mean, before you know it, you're 5, 8 yards, 10 yards. You
Yep.
got a first down. Unbelievable. Time that safety came up to get you, it was almost too late.
Yep.
But they did. They had a good team. They had a very talented team. What could you say about those guys? Were they?
I would say they impressed us, yeah. They were a little more physical than we thought. That quarterback was a good player, offensively and defensively. He was definitely their playmaker, as is their quarterback this week.
How many interceptions did you have, Garrett?
2.
2. That's what I thought. Yeah. And did you have any, Jack? You played defense too, or no?
Yeah, I played defense, but no, I didn't get any.
I heard your cousin's name, Max.
Yeah, Max.
He's a tough boy, ain't he?
I love to have him on the field with me. It's nice to have
I
someone. in the
bet.
field
Well, you
with
guys
me.
are like brothers. You both went to St. Mary's together. You're a year apart.
Yeah, you're apart.
Yeah, and you know your family is very close. Your dad and Ryan, they're very close, and the mothers are very close. Yeah, that has a lot to do with family, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot. I love the family factor part of it.
Yeah.
If you can't be on the field, so when I'm at the game, I usually sit with the Bowmans and around the Fosters. And if you're not on the field, there's no better place to be than sitting with that group of people in the stands, in all honesty.
That's loud.
That's very true.
Well, you guys were good 5 years ago when you started playing,
Yeah.
right? You guys, I remember talk about this football team, how good they're going to be when they got in high school. And a lot of times in Big Rapids, we're historically known for this. We have really good athletes that start out, and then once they get to 9th, 10th grade, they just say, well, I've had enough of that. I don't want to play anymore. Why are you guys so much different? Your whole team has stuck together all these years so well. It hasn't been that way in the past as much.
Yeah, just building that brotherhood from day one. We've always stick together. We push each other and feel off each other.
Who's the leader on your team? You, Gary?
I would say us two and Earl.
Yeah.
But Jack, you got another year,
Yeah.
but this is your senior year.
His senior year, yep.
I bet there's some boys looking at you right now from
Oh, yeah.
college ranks.
Yeah.
Because you're fast. If you had a big line, which you do, don't get me wrong, but you're very fast. You should.
Yeah.
I hope that helps you to hear that from people because you can do it.
Yeah.
You're an overachiever as far as I'm concerned. So is Jack here. But that being said, how about your brothers? How much influence did your older brother have on you?
I would say he brought me as a freshman, I was nervous coming in, and he just introduced me to his friends, and I've always was decently close to them growing up, and he was a junior when I was a freshman, so he just got me in the flow with things, I would say.
Yeah. Jack, you didn't have that.
No, I didn't have that, but honestly, being on varsity freshman year was an awakening, but in a good way. I had so many people to help me learn the ways of our program, our culture, and one person I'd like to shout out is Will Strickler. I mean, he was our quarterback. I was new into everything. Everything was just like, I came from a little school. I had 11 people in my grade.
Right.
I'm in this high school, almost like 200 people in my grade. And it was all new to me. I'm learning all this. But he was very good about teaching me on like what to do, what not to do, how you should do it. And I just want to thank him for all he's done.
That's pretty nice. You know, I wondered about that if you had a mentor because you came out of St. Mary's and you played basketball there, and then you played public football, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you knew some of the guys.
Yeah, I knew some of the guys coming into freshman year, but I mean,
Right.
you're only with them for a little bit of
Right.
the season.
Right. So how was St. Mary's?
St. Mary's was so much fun. I'm so glad I went there. It was nice being able to be with kind of the same people. I mean, throughout your entire like time through school, I guess.
Right. Yeah, you're a pretty good athlete. We knew you were going to be good in high school, but what? And I'm going to have to ask Mike this because get Mike Seltzer in here. Mike, you're having a tremendous year. Congratulations so far. You've just you're an overachiever too. What did you see in Jack as a freshman? Because you know you got 3 upperclassmen or 2 upper class or 10th, 11th, and 12th graders in there. Much more mature, older than him. Body-wise, I know he's built pretty good for a 9th grader. But how did you determine that this man was special enough to come up to a varsity level?
Actually, it was kind of out of
Yeah.
You're right up on that day.
It was out of necessity. That Reed City week 3 years ago, we had 3 injuries happen in practice, just kind of freak things.
crazy.
And so Jack got brought up, I think, on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Before that game, him and James Brandt we brought up to fill in those roles, and from there he went off in that game and kind of made his mark, and so we stayed there. It's been great for us to have these 2 guys in our backfield for the last 3 years. Really, Garrett came up as a sophomore that year as well. I remember his first downs as varsity. He was a freshman player as well, and it was a playoff game in Oak Ridge, and he got some linebacker in. And so, I think one thing that we've been fortunate with is having some good athletes at a young age. So this is, Garrett's 3rd year, plus a playoff game on varsity his freshman year. Jack is a 3-year starter for us. Earl is a 3-year starter for us. James Brandt is a 3-year player and starter for us. So we've had that. We've been fortunate enough to get those young guys in and developing. But when it comes to these 2, I don't think you're going to find anybody who works harder at their craft than these guys, and that's been the leadership that they provide, is to demonstrate that, not just say it, but demonstrate it. And they're pretty humble for where they're at. We know that they're good running backs. We know that they're good athletes, but what a lot of people don't understand in our offense is either one of them could be a 1,000-yard rusher in almost any other program, but we run the option, so on any play, any one of 3 guys is going to have it, and it's not predetermined. I think we have 2 plays where it's predetermined who gets the ball. Everything else is a read and a quarterback option to determine who gets it. So these guys have been awesome in the backfield. They've been great teammates, understanding that within our system, and what makes our system go is that you can't predetermine who you're going to take away. And that one game it'll be Jack who's the feature, and the next game it'll be Garrett, and another game it could be one of our receivers. So those guys buying into the system has been great for our program. And people ask me all the time, what changed, and Jack kind of shouted out Will. I credit Will with a lot of our culture change. Will had a huge impact on our program when he came up as a sophomore and was our starting quarterback. I don't think I've ever met a more competitive person than Will. I mean, he'll run me over in practice if I'm in a way to score a touchdown in practice, and so Will was a lot with that. But these guys have carried that torch and, are bringing the team along, and they're the first ones to give everybody else credit.
That's like I said, Ed Filion and Monty Brown, Jeff Pierce at the helm back then at Fair State. I think it was in '94. It was against Hillsdale. I was at that game. We were getting beat at that time. We hadn't won a game that year. I think we were 0-3. And Hillsdale was the favorite in that game. They were top of the league. Monty Brown and Ed Filion poured it on that night, and the rest is history. That right there instilled in those guys, hey, we can win games. They went undefeated for 3 years after that. So I was wondering, and you've already answered my question, who in the Cardinal history turned the program around? Sounds like Will Strickler did that.
Yeah, I would believe that. Yep.
Yeah, that's cool. And injuries. I always am afraid of injuries. You guys have been pretty healthy.
Yeah.
And so that's been a big part of your victories. Yeah. But don't be superstitious. But anyway, like James Brandt, he's a fabulous football player too. On defense, especially, right?
Yeah, he's really came into his own this year at outside backer and has done a fabulous job for us.
Yeah.
And overall, our defense has done really well. We've given up 100 points less this year than we had last year.
Wow.
And that's a big difference. That's over a touchdown a game, and collectively, they've been flying around really well.
Yeah, they have. I was really happy for Max. I know Jack and Max from St. Mary's. Are obviously everybody out there that doesn't know, my kids go there and my grandkids go there now. And the Bowmans went there, and they were just a tremendous asset to Big Rapids. Whenever we needed help, the Bowmans were there, and they still are. But I was happy for Max because I just think the world of him, and I think the world of you too, and I think the world of you, Jack, Garrett. But anyway, Max got that sack.
Yep.
And he's a sophomore.
Yep.
And man, I mean, he poured it on. what people don't see, and that's why I hope everybody comes this week, what people don't see is what happens after that. These guys are just unbelievable excited.
Yeah.
I mean, and then the other thing is how many slips that they just almost had a sack.
Yeah,
just
that was
a split second. That quarterback's down right after he throws the ball. So you guys really pushed him hard. I bet he was surprised because, like Caden Schubert, he had a nice sack there.
Yep.
And man, I tell you, your line is so fast. Those guys probably, Coach, what do you think? 30 pounds heavier than we were?
Yeah, absolutely.
Their lines,
Yeah.
if not more.
Yep.
And your guys got by them with pure heart and speed.
Yep.
They just, I mean, they ducked the block and went around them, and before you know it, that quarterback was rushed. I bet you, what percentage do you think he was rushed?
Oh, I would say he was flushed out of the pocket. When he was stepping back to pass, he was flushed probably 70% of the time, and they lived on 3rd and long.
Yeah.
They were over 50% conversion on 3rd or 4th and long, which is really uncommon. It's usually around 25%, and they doubled that, and they ended up with some big plays on 3rd and long or 4th and long, which credit to them for scrambling and Gunsell did a great job of kind of throwing it up and trusting his receivers to go get it, and this week we're going to face a similar quarterback. Probably the best quarterback we've seen this year, and Camden Thompson, and he's a Division I athlete. He's got a scholarship to Western for basketball and football. And so he's a different caliber athlete, and we're going to have some similar results. We're going to have to stop him from escaping the pocket. Goal is to keep him in the pocket and force him to throw from there. 'Cause he's a scrambler.
Last night, my son was pulling up his videos that you guys must have, and hey, Dad, look at this kid. He goes, we got to contain him.
Yep.
And got your job cut out. Now, before we get going too far, Scott, you're still with us, right? You haven't snoozed?
Yeah,
Oh my God, I'm sorry, Scott. I'm just so excited about both teams getting to where they're at. I
Scott?
forgot all about you. He's there. Isn't
Yeah,
he?
you got me?
There he is.
Poor guy.
Hey, so with this weekend, so Big Rapids has Whitehall this weekend, Friday night, and then Reed City has Standish Sterling. And where are you guys at?
We're at home.
You're at home too.
Yep.
Okay, I don't have my
Yeah, you gotta listen to the speaker.
So-
Here, take this.
Yeah. Hand that over there to Brian. Get that over there, Brian. Oh.
much better. So you guys got Standish Sterling. What have you guys done to prepare for this week then?
Just doing the same stuff we've been doing all year. We sit down as coaches on Sunday and start looking at film and, deciding what we need to do defensively and how we need to prepare. And just like Mike was talking about Whitehall having a good quarterback, Standish has got a pretty athletic quarterback and Sullivan kid that can throw the deep ball, and he's extended a lot of plays with his legs, and they're a solid team all the way around and pretty physical up front. So I think their last two games, which week 9 was over at LC, and then last week was Mason County Central. Their very first play was a bomb, like 65 plus yards to just one man route. So they're skilled all the way around, and they're playing really good. They've won like their last 4. They had a big win against Ogama Heights when Ogama was undefeated, and they've just kind of carried that momentum through. So it should be a physical game, and it should be a good one. So.
Well, I think it's pretty exciting right now in our area with both you and Big Rapids having the success that you've had. You guys got a little streak going when it comes to getting to regionals and moving past. Have you looked ahead at all? I know you sometimes as coaches you don't want to look ahead. You take 1 week at a time. But have you looked ahead to say, okay, this is where we are. This is who we have possibly to match up against down the road.
You know what the brackets are, but I don't look ahead. We're 1 week at a time, and if you look ahead and don't win at this point, it doesn't matter looking ahead.
Right.
Not playing. So we're just focused on playing for a district title on Friday against Standish, and that's our outlook right now.
How the kids? What's their mindset right now?
The kids?
Yeah.
Oh, they're excited. They've been in this spot before. Like, we've been to the semis the last 2 years in a row, so they've been here. They love playing at home, and they're just they're ready. So just a matter of practices get to be the same thing, very similar, and kids get caught up in that. But when Friday night comes on, they'll be ready. So
right. And looking ahead, I think weather-wise for this time of year, both teams got pretty good weather to play Friday night under the lights, and so I think it's going to be exciting. And good luck to you and Big Rapids and your games this week. And Mike, what about you? Outside of the quarterback with Whitehall, what other things have you guys had to maybe prepare for?
It's kind of, for us, it's interesting because we go to the same Veer camp as Whitehall. We've played each other the last 2 years in the playoffs, and we've split. And they have the same style of offense. So when we're running our Scout-O, we don't have to really look at the Scout-O cards. We just tell them what the play is, and we run it off of our playbook. There's a few, subtle differences in how they block up front and that. But they have Camden Thompson at quarterback, who, we talked about him already. They also have number 4, Gavin. He's a all-state wrestler. I think he's a 205 pounder. He's a dude, and he's a downhill runner, so we'll have to stop that inside run out of him. And they got a junior, number 10, who plays some defensive tackle and split end, who's a physical blocker. He's kind of built a lot like Max Bowman, kind of tall and muscular, and has some physicality. So they're a well-rounded team. They're a little more run-oriented or system-oriented than they were last year. Last year, the quarterback they had was phenomenal as well and could create plays. So, I think it's a pretty evenly matched team with us, and so it'll be an exciting game for sure.
Well, I think we took the opportunity. We had you and Scott both on, I think, the week before the first game.
Yeah.
And we talked about it was such a good show that I said, Pat, we got to get these two guys back on after the season and maybe revisit the season and how they got here and where they're going. Mm-hmm. So Scott, I guess in a synopsis, give us your season, since it's probably been 9-10 weeks since we last spoke.
Our schedule this year was, I think we talked about it on that first show, was a buzzsaw, and I think we played 7 out of 9 games teams that were in the playoffs. So, and I think 6 of them are still playing for a district title. So our schedule was pretty challenging for our kids, and they've hung in there. We've had some big injuries down the way, and it's that time of the year where you hope you don't get hit too bad by it. But we lost a few kids right around week 6, and we're getting some of them back right now, so that should help us out. But it's a grind. Football season is these kids. I think remember hearing Dan Campbell say the healthiest you are is going to be the first day of practice, and that's part of wavering everything out with your schedule and your competition. So I couldn't be prouder of how our kids have stuck through it with 7-2. We opened up with a big win against Kingsley on the last play, and we finished against Beale City with a drive at the end of the game to win it, and then had to stop there. So very, very, very proud, and like I said, it was a grind this year. We knew going into as coaches that our schedule was going to be tough, and our conferences. Well, I think we still have 3 teams playing for a district championship too. So I think we had 4 in, and Big Rapids, us, and Newega were all playing Friday night. So that speaks volumes too.
Yeah, well, part of that schedule has gotten you to where you are and prepared you for the playoffs.
Yeah, that was the whole purpose of it. Is you don't, with the way the whole playoff thing is set up, you want to play better teams, and get you prepared not only for the playoffs, but hopefully get you a better seed as far as the playoffs go, so you can have a few home games instead of traveling on the road. And I think all three of us are sitting at home right now too, I believe. So that's once again showed the strength of the conference a little bit and the level of competition you're playing.
Well, thanks for everything you've done up there, Scott. I tell you, the Cardinals are dear to my heart, and there's a lot of pride here in Big Rapids right now. But we also congratulate the Coyotes up there. You're brothers in arms until we play you. And then you're the biggest rivalry we have. And that being said, we're going to take a break here, Bob, for advertisers. Without them, we wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't be making six-figure salary, which I haven't received yet. Take it away, Bobby.
All right, we'll be right back. It's Curry's Hot Stove League on B1039. Come say cheers at Zott's Bar and Grill in Big Rapids. Great food, great prices, and great people, where everybody knows your name. Zott's, people's choice for best soup. You don't want to miss their award-winning burgers and chili as well. Originally opened in 1933 and serving it up ever since. Seasonal beers on tap. Located at 732 North State Street in Big Rapids. Roxanne and Doug at Zott's Bar and Grill are proud sponsors of the Signature Player of the Week for the Curry's Hot Stove League every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m.
Hey, this is Andrew from Big Rapids Tire. Putting off winter, good idea for some, but in reality, pretty much impossible. And if you wait too long to get snow tires, you'll be saying,
should have done it sooner. Dang it.
or something slightly more harsh. Last thing you want is to be slipping and sliding, or even worse, delayed, because you can't get out of your driveway. Get fresh new snow tires from Big Rapids Tires. There's no better feeling than to confidently take on the roads in the rough weather with good solid snow tires on your car. Confidence and peace of mind. Priceless. Big Rapids Tire. There for you, whatever the weather. Fast and friendly service on Northland Drive, just north of Big Rapids. Call 796-4839. That's 796-4839. Big Rapids Tire.
And we're back on Curry's Hot Stove League, Pat.
Wow, I was in Zott's, I can't tell you last night because they were closed, but I was in there last week. Their hamburgers are still delicious, and I go by Big Rapids Tire. Andrew's doing a great job down there. They're busy all the time, and the reason they're busy is because they have great service. Honest integrity, that's Steve Brock's company down there. Andrew's taken it over, done a great job. Back to you, Mike. Mike, how many years have you been coaching now?
This is year 29.
My Lord.
My 10th at Big Rapids.
And then you're the track coach too, right?
Also coach boys track. Yep.
Yeah, right. Well, life is a journey of a lot of ups and downs. And, the coach takes none of the credit when they win, but they take all the bad mouth and
all the criticism when we lose.
Yeah.
That's the role of a coach.
I know it is, and you've seen it both now, and you definitely deserve the roses now, because one of the reasons I say you deserve the roses is because you got about 6 good roses in the backup coaching ranks. Jack and Garrett, who is the running back coach?
Running backs coach is Coach Selzer, I would say.
There you go. Okay, so you're doing a great job there, Mike. But
it's easy with those athletes, right?
Well, I know, but you've coached them along. You can have all kinds of. I've had a real good racehorse one time, but it didn't have enough heart to win a race. I was so disappointed. Matt and I trained, and he trained real well, but then we'd take it down to Detroit, and he'd look at the other horses and just puke the last 16th mile.
Yep.
Horse didn't have no heart, but his full sister had a lot of heart.
Yep.
She won a lot for us. But anyway, that being said, so it's a lot. Yeah, the talent's there, but you got to get the talent out of it. And if they have heart, you're going to win.
Yeah.
But now, I watched Friday night's game, folks. I'll tell you what, off the line, we were so much quicker. We have the quarterback, Cole Heist there, a very intelligent quarterback. I thought he did some good things. I think he only made maybe 1 or 2 mistakes. That's not bad for a high school quarterback his junior year.
I'll talk about Cole for a second,
okay,
because I think with Jack and G in the backfield, they're obviously the horses that we ride, right?
Right.
But part of the offense that we run is it's called at the line. So we'll call a play, and Cole does a phenomenal job of. I would say that last series when we get inside of 20. And we call a run play, Cole goes up and he looks at the defense and he changes it. Or a lot of our plays, we'll call out a formation and we'll call check with me. and that gives Cole the green light to evaluate the defense, and then he'll call the plays from the line. So, like I said earlier, most of our plays, there's 3 options on them, and then it's nice to have a coach on the field as well who looks at the defense, and he has a green light if we call a play that he doesn't like it. However, the defense adjusts. I think it was our first touchdown against Ludington. We called an outside run, and they shifted their defensive tackles out over, and it just a big hole in the middle, and he checked us to a midline, and Garrett, I think he took 3 steps and stood up
And walked right in.
Yeah, you did. I was there. I watched it. Yeah,
Right.
that was unbelievable. You never got touched.
Yeah, and that's the power of the system that we run, and having
Yeah.
an intelligent quarterback that can say this is wrong. We got to get to something right.
Yeah,
So he does a fantastic job of running that for us.
and he's young, and it's got to be pretty tough in that situation. Got to be a little nerve-wracking, but when you have 2 great tailbacks like that, kind of gives him a little more confidence,
Yep.
doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so, and it's that I think the boys hit it earlier, and that this is a group that believes in each other. We push family, we break down. Every practice you leave with a handshake or a hug from all the coaches and all the players, and we spend a lot of time together in the off season.
Oh, yeah.
You talked about assistant coaches a second ago, and we got assistant coaches that spend.
Who's the line coach?
The O-line coach is Pat Craven this year, along with Scott Pedigo, but now that he's got the college coaching job and basketball at Montcalm Community, he's now our booth guy, and Pat Craven has been our O-line coach.
Oh, he's a good coach,
He's
isn't he?
doing a fantastic job, to finish out our offense. We got Coach Dubowski is our wide receivers coach, and puts in a lot of time, and our receivers are getting better week after week. Coach Ken Rangel is our quarterbacks coach, and he does a fantastic job of, one of the things is bringing in that Everett staff is kind of learning to mesh a couple of new systems, and so we're bringing in new concepts this year, pass-wise, and I think we're benefiting from that. And so we got good offensive coaches, and then on the defensive side, Coach Maynard has been here for a long time, running the defensive line for us.
I was a kid when he was here.
Yep, Coach McCall and Jack and G are linebackers. Coach McCall is with the linebackers all the time and really working and getting better at our tackling and our schemes. And then to round it out is Coach Fricky, our defensive coordinator, and our DBs coach. And he played at Ferris. He was a receiver at Ferris, but he's our DBs coach and D coordinator. And he gets the kids to play hard, and he gets them to buy into that scheme. And we like to fly around.
I just love your coaches. I know every one of them individually, and I've gotten to know Dave McCall the last 2-3 years really well. He's a Chippewa Hills graduate, played football over there. He's a very outstanding person, let alone a good athlete. But man, the kids just buy into all their programs that these coaches bring in, don't you, Garrett? I mean, you guys really trust these guys for everything you've done. And that's a tribute to you, Mike, building this program up with the coaches that you had. And I'm not blowing smoke, but it's pretty hard getting assistant coaches because they don't get paid, right?
Yeah, they get a little bit, but you never get into coaching for the money.
No,
right?
I know you don't. And that's why I say these guys have big hearts, and it's a tribute to you getting these guys that are coaching with you. I mean, any one of them could be a head coach.
Yeah, and there's so much that coaches, and I know Scott can reaffirm this, and because I know kids that play or have played for Scott, and it's not just what you do in the practice time. It's the out of season time that you spend together. It's the camaraderie that you build. Our house is open to every one of our players. We have and as coaches, you bring every one of those players as a part of your family. And with my sons and my wife and the assistant coaches and their families and their wives, you bring these guys in and you show them that you care about them, not only as football players, but as people. And you build those relationships, and you try to be a strong role model.
Yeah, Jack, you and Garrett are pretty good-sized boys, but you go up against guys that are quite a bit bigger than you.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game. You guys are quick, you're smaller. But has any team this year intimidated either one of you guys when you looked at them like, whoa?
Not really, no.
No?
The only person I can really think of is Papa, but I mean, the kid's like 6'8",
Stry.
320, whatever.
So, do you think you played them again? What would be the outcome?
I think it would be completely
Very different.
Very close.
sure.
eh?
Our first game,
Right.
that was definitely first game.
Yeah, and then you knew their record was good. You knew
Yeah.
they were going to be big, and kind of a mind deal, isn't it? And then once you got past that, you said, "No, this isn't us."
Yeah.
Well, and that's why we play them. You know,
Yeah.
that's why we have them. You know, Scott talked about it. You set up your schedule to benefit your team in the long run, and so you know we learned that from playing Coopersville a few years ago. You put on a team like that on your schedule early, and they show you where your weaknesses are, what you might have thought were your strengths, but were really weaknesses, and you make changes and you evolve and you get better for it.
I go back to Coopersville. That's probably the best high school football game I've ever seen in my life. Honestly, I walked away from that game, and there wasn't a person there that wasn't like, wow, most complete game I've seen from a team. Everybody contributed, just clean. It was a clean game, an awesome game. So I look at Coopersville and I'm like, that's probably the best high school football game I think I've ever seen.
How did Ludington take their defeat that night? Was there any?
They took it pretty hard, I'm honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they were a pretty senior-heavy team, and I kind of know the quarterback because I've been with him at a few different camps all throughout summer. He's a super nice kid.
Yeah.
He's I don't know. He's a playmaker, and he does what he does, and he loves to do it. He loves like football, obviously. But after the game, I just felt so bad. I mean, he was telling his teammates, I'm sorry," like crying.
Oh.
I went over there. I made sure he was good. I was like, "Hey, don't worry about it." All this.
That says a lot about your character, Jack. That's your
Thank you.
upbringing, yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know how to handle it. You're humbled by the win. But to be honest with you, those guys were devastated. We were on that side watching their body language, and they were just unbelievable. Like you say, they were highly seniors. It's their last game of their life, probably. You know, but they had a great season. But they just came up with a team that well coached. You guys are very good athletes, so you beat them. But I felt bad for them too. I did. Ed and I were sitting there going, "Wow, that team's a good team." I mean, they didn't give it up either. Unfortunately, for them, they lost. But there can only be one winner.
Yeah, at this point in the season, right? There's 16 teams left, and only one of them gets to leave the field with a victory.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's no bad football teams left.
Yeah.
You're in the top 16 in each division, and everybody's there for a reason because they're a pretty good team.
But, you know, that being said, too, you know, how many guys are on the team, you know, God has gifted you both. I know you both are good Christians, and you appreciate what God has done for you. But, you know, someday you're going to look back at this 20 years from now at your class reunion and say, you guys aren't going to be, you won't see each other for, say, 20 years, and you're going to come back, and it was like yesterday we were playing ball with each other. Remember that game, how we beat Ludington, and how I felt bad for Ludington, but we were happy as heck as a team, you know. So I know you guys are God thankful people, and Jack, it's remarkable. You and Max both have been impressed. I've been impressed with your families, and I'm very glad that you guys came to Big Rapids, that's for sure. And Garrett, you and your brothers, you know, you're very close, you know, and your younger brother's coming up, and he's quite a good athlete too, right?
Yeah, and he's getting reps on varsity the last couple weeks in practice, and you know that's important about making the postseason. Is you add to your practice, you add to your reps, you know, and you look at like what we've done over the last couple of years, and what Scott's done over there, you know, with these runs, you know, in 3 years you get the equivalent of 4 seasons. Right. And that's that many more reps for your young guys. And so we bring up young guys that want to practice, and they get to replicate it, and they get to see how the varsity's doing. What's that?
What grades is young?
Freshman.
He's a freshman this year. Yep, he ran some slot and outside backer for us, and did a phenomenal job on our JV. And I think we got 10 JV kids that wanted to continue the season with us, and that we invited up. And you know, they get 4 practices each week, and they get to be around these guys, and they get to see how Jack and Garrett handle themselves in practice, and how they run the drills. And you know, they don't walk through them; they sprint through the drills.
I know we're talking a little bit in the future here, but just touch a little bit on, I understand through the grapevine that we have a great quarterback, not that we don't now, but a great one coming up in Baby.
Yeah, well, Alexander Brandt was the JV quarterback and did a really good job. He's one of those dual threat quarterbacks. He's a run threat as well as a pass threat. But we also have I can't think Vash as an 8th grader, right? And he's one of those dual kids, and he showed a lot of growth from his 7th grade to 8th grade year. And Baby showed a lot of growth. So the good thing is if you develop athletes, you got options.
Well, don't you think too, though, Coach, that these guys are setting the wave of the future? I got a caller in, Bob from Hilton. I want to tell him to hold on. We'll talk to you in a minute. Probably some coach wants to talk to these guys over here, recruit them. But yeah, you got some good young athletes coming up.
Oh, yeah.
You guys, are you mentoring any of them? Or
Yeah, we try our best to. I mean, we have summer programs that we do. We do camps and stuff for the youth. And we're just doing that so we can build the culture up again.
Yeah. Well, go ahead, Brian. You have something.
So Scott, we've talked a lot about Big Rapids staff and the I guess part that they have in these players' lives and the players that have been significant to Mike and his staff getting the team to be where they are. What about you, staff, and maybe some significant players that maybe seniors or otherwise that mentored your team to get you where you are in the playoffs?
Yeah, it's echoing the same thing Mike said. Getting in the playoffs and getting a couple, 2 or 3 weeks extra practice with your JV kids that are coming up gives them an idea of what to expect when they get to varsity, as far as the speed, the intensity, the size. So, and we got some great coaches too. Clayton Sims calls the offense, does a phenomenal job with it. We got Scott Daling, coaches linebackers and offensive line. Corey Perdome, wide receivers, DB. Ryan Ward does the D-line and offensive line. And Mike will tell you the same thing. I'm just there with the title as head coach, but as a whole, we're all head coaches, and we all share that role of mentoring these kids and getting after them as football players when need be, and trying to be a positive male figure in their life as much as we can. And the amount of time we spend with them, I tell them all the time. I have a son of my own that's in 6th grade, and I said, but I have 26 other sons year round too that I'm usually trying to make sure they're doing the right thing. So, and they kind of laugh at me, but they know how much I care for them and love them. So, it's a never-ending job, but it's one that's fun and that you look forward to. So, some of the kids that have really stepped up and taken leadership roles, Tyler Woodside is a junior for us, and he, when he speaks up at practice, most of the offensive linemen listen, and it's nice to see because he'll be coming back. And then you got kids that just lead by example and work hard. They don't say much, and so it's just different roles, different things kids take on.
On a personal, how's my boy Reese Dew doing?
Reese Dew?
Yeah,
he's doing good. He's a backup, so he's learning the ropes, but he's there every day, working hard, and he's usually on a scout team somewhere pushing kids along. And, a lot of people look at all your starters and think, but they're not much unless your scout team is making them work, and we really try to have a high expectation for our scout team kids too, to give us the best possible look we can get. It's not easy being a wing T team and trying to run spread option stuff week in and week out, or just option stuff, because our kids are like, what are these guys doing split out this far from the line of scrimmage? So they do a great job with it, and Reese is one of those guys that does a good job.
Okay. Hey, I got another question for the boys over here at the Cardinal bench. Folks, how important are your folks to you, Jack? What do they do for you?
I mean, they're my backbone, honestly. I mean, if I didn't have such great parents like them, I don't know if I'd be in the place where I am. I mean, they push me every day. They're helping me with everything. I mean, they're just such a big part of my life.
Yeah, I know, and Garrett, you too. When you guys were little, you'd come in the station. Your mom and dad would always bring in. You go to Subway or get a sandwich or whatever, But I can tell it when they have good parents. You guys are very respected, respectable when you come in there when you were kids, and you still are to this day. And I just want to commend your folks for that. But you know, Garrett, like your folks, your dad, just like Jack's, avid athlete, you know, and really is enjoying this part of his life. Money can't buy that. You can have all the money in the world, but that athlete out there doesn't come from money. It comes from the heart. It comes from the dedication. You guys have definitely done that for the Cardinals. Jared, or Garrett, when you make a big play, and you made a lot of them, I mean, my Lord, you are just so entertaining. Jack, you are too. I love you, and I love that Max. And I love Caleb. I love them all. The whole team's been great. We're focusing today on you too. When you make a big play like you do, when you make that touchdown, do you ever look up in the stands for your dad?
All the time. Yeah.
I remember my son Adam and Matt played ball, and God, I would give all my money in the world to watch it again and enjoy those moments. I was very fortunate. They were both pretty good athletes. Adam played 3 sports, and I remember him especially, and Matt was good too, but Adam, every time he scored in the basketball game, he would look up in those stands at his dad. And I guess what I'm saying is you guys don't realize the happiness and the enjoyment that you are doing for your folks. You know, I mean, they deserve it. 1A, they've afforded you to be able to do what you're doing.
Yes.
And B, they put you in that position. C, it was up to you, and you guys are overachievers. And I want to commend both of you guys. I really mean that. And the whole staff, the whole team. I'm so proud to be from Big Rapids, because you guys don't realize back in the day, we used to lose a lot.
Yeah.
And I said this to an AD years ago, back in the late 90s. I don't think you realize the pride that Big Rapids has is when we beat Reed City.
Yeah.
And the pride Reed City has when they beat Big Rapids. We love each other when we come to have a beer, but when we go on the field, everything left on the field. And for a while there, the Cardinals weren't doing that. Reed City continued doing that because it's the same family. They weren't fortunate enough to have the input from the Fosters or the Bowmans coming to Big Rapids. It was old families. Traditionally, they knew what it was. And then all of a sudden, the spark came to Cardinals, and you guys are going to now understand where we've been coming from all these years, but dated back in the 50s, man. And you guys are building a tradition that we are very thankful for. I think as far as our economy, it draws a lot of people to our community. I see what Mike's job's going to get easier because people are going to want to come here and play. And it's not called recruiting, it's called the incentive of being in Big Rapids. They want to be winners. I can see that happening right now. It already is probably. You've seen some people move over to Big Rapids because our facility. So everything's just a good time in Big Rapids, and you guys have been a big part of it. You know, we can have a parade, we can have the float and everything else, but it really starts at the field level, and you guys are doing a great job. I'm just overwhelmed. I really am, and I'm talking too much. But being that said, you guys have been great guests today. We're going to wind it down here so Bob can get on to the next show. But, Coach, what else? Let's finish it up.
I think you hit it on the head with the senior group. The senior group has had a lot of success, and the great part about it is no one of them claims it. They understand it's that family, it's that buying into we, not me, and they understand that it comes from hard work. And Scott Schenkel will say this because they've been doing it, over the last 2 decades. It's football's won in the off season.
Yeah.
You get to show it during the season, but you're winning championships with your work ethic in the off season. And I think 2 programs that understand that have been successful the last few years because of our off season stuff. And these guys are incredible workers in the off season.
Well, Reed City's never quit it. They've always done it. And you guys have picked up the last 5-10 years, whatever. But not that our teams were real bad back in the old days. Don't get me wrong. They were competitive. But Reed City, they start at a young age. They have a great coach. They've always had great coaching staffs up there. But they have an audience that sits there and goes, we're going to beat BR. And when they don't beat us, they're man enough to say, hey, you guys have I tell you, this come right from Reed City people. you guys have a great team this year. Hats off to you. That's the kind of people they are. So even in defeat, they're still winners.
Yeah.
And I appreciate Reed City. I've loved Reed City all my life. A lot of my cousins are up there, and I've coached up there and played up there, and they've been very successful. And when they beat us, I take my hat off to them. I didn't like it, but that's the way we are. We're brotherhoods until we came to the field. But anyway, Coach, you've done a great job.
Appreciate
Garrett, good luck Friday night. Jack, I love you guys. I love your families. And, geez, we just have had a great thing going here in Big Rapids. And to follow up on that, just one more thing. I know I talk too much, but I love talking. It's the only thing I can do good. The tradition you guys are melting in the pot right now will continue on for decades because of what you guys are doing right now. And I tell you, folks, if you haven't been to a football game, come Friday night. What time is it, Garrett?
7 o'clock.
7?
Yep.
Yeah, plenty of time to get there after work. You got to bring your kids because Big Rapids, the town, the pride is all going to be there. We need more people to show up. Get out there and see a game of your lifetime probably because, I mean, last Friday night was probably, like Brian said, great game against Coopersville. You guys played big there. I still can't believe you beat them, but I can now after watching how good you guys really are. You weren't underdogs that night. You guys were the favorite.
Yes.
You came out the favorite. Stunned them, but you guys were the favorite. What else? Anything else, boys? You want to thank anybody out there? I know Garrett comes from a great family. You want to say anything to Dad, Ma?
I just want to thank my parents for everything they've provided to me. I want to thank God as well. All glory to God.
Thank you, Garrett. I love that.
I want to
Jack?
thank God and our wonderful community we have. I mean, it's good to go out there on the field and be able to look up in the stands and see all those people cheering for you and know that they got your back.
You know, I can't remember the guy. I think it was, I can't remember his name now, but I haven't heard that kind of howling. But when you ran that one and broke tackle and got up and you jumped probably 5 feet in the air, and Ed and I said, "Whoa, you could hear him all over Big Rapids." You're loving it, weren't you, Jack?
Yeah, once I get on that field, I mean, I get the energy, Jack. I mean, I'm there. And
You're jacked up, weren't you?
Yeah, that's for sure.
And that's simply saying, yeah, you too, Garrett. Thanks a lot for everything. Well, Bobby, thanks to our sponsors.
Also, thanks, Scott.
Scott,
Still on
yes,
the line
God
there.
bless you. And good luck, Scott,
Thank
at
you.
your game
Appreciate
Friday
it.
night. I'm sorry. I wish you could have been here live. I wouldn't have forgot about you all the time. Brian, thank God he was in there getting you on here for a minute. But we'll have you both back on, you coaches, after you both win your state championships. And hopefully we'll continue the success for the next 5 weeks, is it, or 4? 5?
Four including this week.
Yeah, right. You can do her. That's the motto of Big Rapids Cardinals. Garrett Foster, Jack Bowman, God bless you both. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
God bless
I think we
America.
need to name Zot's Players of the Week. What do you think?
Well, I believe they're sitting across from
Yeah,
you.
I
Bobby.
think so, yeah.
Yep, you guys are our Zots Player of the Week, Garrett.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's a big old plaque of
Get 'em
it's
a
called a
burger.
hamburger.
Yeah, burger.
You guys both go down to Zots.
We gotta get you a certificate with the burger. So
No, they know them.
yeah, okay. I gotta get it to Roxanne.
One of these days, this Mike Seltzer, probably one of the best coaches we've had in years, going to be Zots Player of the Week, just for
There you
his
go.
players. Yeah. All right.
WBZX Big Rapids. So we need to take
Big show.
Yeah, okay, very good. Scott, thanks. I'm gonna hang up on you here.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
take care.
Thanks.
All right, you got it. Okay, bye. All right, it's a conundrum in here. Okay, we're going to be clearing out. We're going to get a new show to load here at WBZX Big Rapids. It's the Big Rapids Victory Lap with your best friend Jen and lots of our winners coming up. No, Donald Trump's not here. They wish he could be here, but anyway, some local winners coming up in just a couple of minutes on B1039. Come say cheers at Zot's Bar and Grill in Big Rapids. Great food, great prices, and great people, where everybody knows your name. Zot's.